From California, it's
Yay!
Robert and Kristen.
Hi, Ella.
Hi, Noah.
Hi, Alex and Nikki.
Hi, everybody.
We're so excited to bring you a fourth video. It's
Yeah,
been
we're
a
going to
while.
talk about alligators today.
All right. Hopefully, you guys want to hear about alligators. So, Ella, Noah, you got to put on your listening ears because there's going to be quizzes. And so, if you listen really closely, you might get the questions right the first time. Otherwise,
Well, just watch or listen again.
yes.
Let's start by talking about what alligators are. Are they amphibians? Are they mammals? What are they?
Well, alligators are reptiles, and that means that they're air breathing, cold blooded animals, and they have hard uh, skin and scales. And since they can't generate their own heat, they actually have to get their heat from their environment. So if they're hot, then they need to actually, get into cool water and cool off. Or if they're cold, then they need to actually be laying out in the sun so that they can actually, their environment is what actually dictates their temperature, unlike us.
In the United States, what states could we maybe find an alligator?
Well, alligators are only native to a couple countries in the world. So in North America, they're native to the United States, and they typically live in the southeastern states. So the states that have the most alligators are Florida and Louisiana. And then in China, they're just in a small protected area along the Yangtze River.
Very good. Very good. And then, more specifically, would they be living on the grass in a forest? What would it look like, their home?
Well, alligators like wetlands. So that might be areas with swamps or marshes or rivers or ponds.
Mhm.
So, and they also like fresh water. So,
Fresh
freshwater
water,
wetlands is
like
where they like
lakes
to live.
and rivers, not the ocean.
No, not the ocean because that's salt water.
Yeah. And how big do they get?
The average alligator is about 10 feet long and weighs about 330 pounds. But the biggest alligators that people have found have been over 15 feet long, and some have been over 1,000 pounds.
So that's like five big people. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
really big.
that's
That's
big.
really big.
That's really big.
Yeah. And how long do they live?
In the wild, they live an average of 50 years, but if they grow up in captivity, like in a zoo, then they might live as long as 80 years.
Why don't we do a little quiz right now? Okay. A little question.
Okay.
Okay.
All
Are
right.
you ready? Everybody, are you
Ella,
ready?
Noah, hopefully you're ready for this. Hopefully you've been listening closely. Otherwise, you can go back and listen again. So the question is, since alligators are reptiles, that means that they're cold blooded. So they can't generate their own heat. So what do they do to stay warm?
All right.
So
Do you have it? Do you have it?
hopefully they're
What do they
thinking, they're
do to
thinking,
stay
what would an
warm?
alligator do if it wanted to get warm?
All right. Well, now we're going to tell you what they do to get warm is go into a place that is warm, like maybe on a rock in the sun. And if they want to cool their bodies, they would go into the water to cool their bodies down because they don't have a regular constant temperature like us. Like people, we're always warm, even if we're cold in the water and the water is cold. Our body inside
Inside.
is still pretty
About
warm.
98.7 degrees Fahrenheit.
Yeah,
We pretty
yeah,
much always stay 98.7 degrees Fahrenheit. And that's why when you get sick, right, and you have a temperature,
yeah.
it might only be just a degree or two
I think the
over
average for people
98.7.
is 98.6. I think that's
Oh,
the
is it
average.
98.6?
But my
Okay.
temperature is usually a little colder.
Yeah, mine's a little bit colder too, usually, but we stay pretty constant.
Yeah, yeah. All right, let's talk about baby alligators. Tell
Baby
me how they're
alligators.
born.
Ooh, well, first I have to do something.
Okay.
mm, 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 mm.
I know what you're doing.
What am I doing?
That's a sound that the baby alligators make.
It is. That's a baby alligator sound. So the mom lays 20 to 50 eggs in a nest and covers that nest up with leaves and sand. And then when the babies and the eggs are ready to be born, they start making high pitched grunting noises like, mm, 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 mm. And then the mom hears them inside the eggs, and the mom comes and digs them out. And then she puts all the eggs into her mouth and she carries the eggs in her mouth to the water. And then that's where they're born. And all the little baby alligators inside the eggs have what they call an egg tooth. And that egg tooth helps them break out of their shells. So when they're born, they're 6 to 8 inches long, and their moms take care of them for 2 years or so.
How big are they when they come out of the shell?
So they're 6 to 8 inches long.
Oh, wow. Uh, we were talking about something very unusual about how an alligator becomes a boy or a girl.
Yeah, this is really interesting. I haven't actually heard about this in any other reptile that's born from an egg. But for alligators, the temperature of the air around the nest determines how many boys or how many girl alligators are born. So if the air around the nest is colder, then they tend to have more boy alligators. But if the air is warmer, then they have this, yeah, if it's colder, they have more boy alligators.
If it is
Is this right?
hotter, they have more boys, I
Oops.
think.
And if it's colder, they have more girls. So I mixed that up. I'm sorry. Let me go back. Let me just clarify. So the air around the nest, if it's warmer, then they have more boys. And if it's colder, then they have more girl alligators. But depend,
Yeah.
there's no other species that I know of that,
If
the
it's
temperature
if
around the
it's
egg determines if
if
they're
it's
boys or girls.
cooler, they have more
Or
girls, and if
girls,
it's hotter,
they have more
they have more
boys. Okay.
boys.
Okay.
Yeah. Let's do a quick question right now,
Okay. All
okay?
right. Let's do a question.
Ask something.
Okay, so how does the mama alligator know that the babies are ready to hatch?
Did you get it yet? Are you still thinking about it? So, how does the mama alligator know that the babies are ready to come out of their eggs?
I think we
All
should ask
right.
them, and if they know, Ella, Noah, if you know, then maybe you can do what the baby alligators do when they're ready to come out of the shells.
Okay. Did you
So,
do it? All right.
oh, I think they're doing it.
All right.
Mm, mm, mm.
They make that sound.
They make
Yeah.
that little
That's it.
sound.
Good job. Good job.
All
Let's
right, good
continue
job, good
on. All
job, good
right.
job.
We should probably talk about what is the difference between alligators and crocodiles because on the one hand they're very similar, but on the other hand there are some significant differences.
Exactly. A lot of people mix them up. I mix them up sometimes. Like some people just say like alligators or crocodiles, but they pretty much mean the same thing. They don't realize that they have a lot of differences. So the first difference in the two is the way that their long snout is shaped. So that snout is kind of like that long part in the front of their bodies that has their mouth and their nostrils and then on top their eyes. So for an alligator, the snout is long and broad, and then it's U shaped at the end. But for a crocodile, it's long and narrow, and it's V shaped at the end.
Yeah, I just think of alligators as having a very wide mouth and a crocodile having a very thin or narrow mouth.
Exactly. And another difference is that the color is different. So an alligator is darker, it tends to be shades of black and dark gray, whereas crocodiles have more light tones. So they'll have more tans and brown colors in their skin.
And when the mouth of an alligator is closed and the mouth of a crocodile is closed, their teeth look different.
Right. So a crocodile, when its mouth is closed, you're going to see a lot of teeth. You're going to see a lot of upper teeth and lower teeth. But an alligator's upper jaw fits down into its lower jaw, And so you don't typically see a lot of teeth. You don't see the upper teeth, and you might see maybe a little bit maybe of the lower, but you're not going to see very many like a crocodile.
Uh-huh. And both the alligators and the crocodiles eat a variety of foods like fish and
Mhm.
birds and other things like that.
They have similar diets. So they eat primarily fish, birds, other small reptiles, and other small mammals. But the difference is that crocodiles are a lot more aggressive than alligators. So alligators are actually pretty shy. So they tend to stay away from anything large, including people. Whereas crocodiles will be more aggressive and might actually, chase after large animals or people.
Right. The crocodile can be a little bit scarier than the alligator
Exactly.
because of what you said. They can be aggressive.
So when we go looking for shark's teeth in the rivers in Florida, there are alligators in those rivers. But even though the guides know where they are, we're not really too afraid of them. We just stay far away from where they are.
Yeah. Let's ask one more question, okay?
Okay.
All
All
right.
right. This is
And
a final quiz question.
yeah.
Okay. Ella, Noah, are you ready for our final question? Do you think they're ready?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So our final question is, what is the difference in the shape of the snout of an alligator or a crocodile? How are their snouts
And
different?
we mean like their big mouth with all their teeth. How are they different?
Yeah. How are they
How are
different?
they different?
That
Their big
shape.
mouth with all their teeth. How are they different? Okay. I think they're getting it.
You think so?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Well,
Yep. I
I'm
think
gonna
they're getting
like.
it.
Well, okay. I can't give you a clue because again, you can just
Yeah. You could just
you can
watch
watch it
again
again.
or
Just watch
listen
it again, right?
again if you don't get it.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So an alligator has a broad, long, U-shaped snout, and a crocodile has a long, narrow, V-shaped snout.
Yes. 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 I think we can wrap things up,
You
right?
think?
Well, it's
Gosh,
kind of sad,
I know
but
it is sad because you're even wearing your like Crocodile Dundee hat, and
yeah.
I feel like well, maybe we should go look for some alligators. We can't look for crocodiles; there aren't any around here. I
We can
mean,
look for them.
in the
We
zoo.
might not find them, but we can look
We
for
can go to a
them.
zoo, but otherwise, we have to go to Florida, or
Florida,
Oh, all
Florida.
right. Well, maybe someday we will take Ella and Noah to Florida. We'll all be there at the same time, and we'll all see some alligators.
Oh, that'd be
That'd be
so much
fun.
fun. Yeah.
All
All right.
right.
So from California to Texas, bye bye. Hope everything's good.
Bye. Bye,
Bye.
Ella.